Hello, eighth graders. Welcome back to another video with VDH. So, uh, I'm gonna explain to you all how the book report assignment works. So, whether you're at home or if you're AB hybrid, you have to do this assignment regardless. We did it last year, and I think a lot of kids enjoyed it. Get away, pop up. So, I'm just gonna walk you through it in case things don't make sense when I explain it in person or if you're just at home. So, some of the requirements are, oh, they're actually right behind me, but they're probably backwards. Um, so, some of the requirements when it comes to picking the actual book are that it has to be a book that is age appropriate, at least 200 pages long, and it has to be written in prose, so it can't be a graphic novel or a poetry book or something like that. And most importantly, it has to be something that you want to read about. Some people have borrowed my books. Someone borrowed a series of unfortunate events. Some people borrowed my Harry Potter books, my Divergent books. You're more than welcome to borrow something of mine, but you can also, if you own something at home, if you go to the school library or the public library, you can use any of those. So I really just want you to pick something that you want to read. I am not someone that says if you start a book and you don't like it, you have to finish it. That's how I am as a person. But it's important that you don't feel like reading a book is a chore. I want you to enjoy taking the time out of your day to read a couple of pages. So, you by September 16th, which is probably when I will post this. No, I'll post it a little bit earlier for the folks that are at home. But by September 16th, you should have a book that you've decided on. The first couple of months are probably just going to be like you spending time reading the actual book and then starting the assignment after that. But while you're reading, if you have sticky notes or something like this, you can stick them on the inside of your book to remind you when to go back there because you need to pick 4 quotes from your book. But here's how it's going to work. There are 2 separate parts of the book report assignment that I give you. Okay? Let me drink some water. Ugh. So there's a written portion and then the like artistic portion. The written portion, I think, is pretty simple, straightforward. I'm grading more on the content and then just like grammar structure, things like that, because you get a whole semester to write this. I expect it to be very well put together. So nothing's misspelled, no missing capital letters or punctuation. Everything should be very nice and clean. So I finished reading my book. Woo! Um, let's say like this is the book I'm going to read. I finished it and it's called The Distant Hours. So I need to start writing my paper. Um, let's use the book that I used as my example last year, and then we'll go through some actual student examples. So last year I read the book called The Forgotten Garden by Kate Morton. So my title is going to be the book. When you're using a book title in a paper, you italicize it. You don't underline it. It's just italicized, and then the name of the author goes right next to it, and that's not italicized. In the top left-hand corner, you'll need to get used to doing this, so do it all the time. I wrote my name, I wrote my hour and what class this is, and then the date I wrote it. I obviously updated that, but I wrote it last summer as an example for you guys. So then I make sure it's Times New Roman, 12-point font, and then I need to make sure that the spacing is double. So double space, I would go to line spacing and go to double space. And that just spreads it out nicely. If something's all smushed together, it gets kind of hard to read. So it's nice and spaced out. So now I'm gonna break it up into 1, 2, 3. Yeah, like it's basically 4 large paragraphs. And I've talked about this already, but a paragraph now is about 5 to 8 sentences long, but it should be longer than that, especially for the summary. So the first sentence I use, I explain the book that I chose. So the book I chose for my assignment is The Forgotten Garden by Kate Morton. And then I do put like when it was written, and then I give the setting. So I make it clear that the book tells the story of 3 generations of women and their tale to find the truth about their past. So I actually am missing the setting here, but I do believe it's super early to 1900s. And I forgot that. So I would want to put that in there. So it finds out a little girl alone on a ship to Australia. We don't find out what year it is actually yet. But anyway, so I give us a setting. We're in Australia. And then I give the background of the character. and then kind of how things progress. I basically just summarized the book, put the whole plot in there. But you can save the end if you don't want to spoil it for anybody, but that's up to you. So that's what I did. So I have a whole paragraph, almost a whole page of just summarizing the book. If you steal this from Wikipedia or SparkNotes or whatever, I will know. I will know, and you will get a 0. So please come up with it in your own words. Even if you think it's a bad summary, which I'm sure it's not, you'll still get more points there than trying to cheat. The next paragraph will be your opinion in a few sentences. What did you think of the book? If you didn't like the book, if you finished it and you didn't like it, tell me why you didn't like it. You don't have to lie to me and say you enjoyed reading it if it ended up not being your favorite. So I put a couple sentences about why I liked the book, how it made me feel, and do you recommend it? That's important. So you put in that what you thought of it and would you recommend this to somebody else? And then these next 2 paragraphs are used to explain things that you put in your mini poster. So let's go to the mini poster. I think I have it down here. This is what I have as an example. So what you need for the poster is the title of the book and the name of the author. And then you need to have 4, 4, and 4. So 4 images that represent something from the story, 4 quotes from the book, and that's where you mark it in your book with a sticky note, and then 4 themes. We haven't quite talked about themes just yet. Oops. Did you see any of that? I think you saw. I'll have to look again. But you'll find those, you'll pick those 4 things, and then in your paper you will explain. So I explain why I chose each image that I did. So I say I drew a boat to represent the boat that Nell was found on, a book to represent the book of fairy tales that helped the characters find out who Nell's mom was, and 2 more other ones. So 4 of those. And then I explain 4 themes. I'll talk about themes more in class because we haven't discussed them too much, but a theme is kind of just like a general idea or like purpose of the story. So it's not quite the moral of the story. So like independence is a theme. Friendship is a theme. So it's not quite a moral. It's just kind of like a noun that describes. It's weird, right? It's a noun that kind of describes or puts everything together. But I will explain that more in class before we even start this assignment. And that's it for your paper. You end it with explaining the themes. So it should be 4 paragraphs, probably some bigger paragraphs for a few of them. And so that's the book report, the written part. Now the drawn part is this little guy. So like I said already, it can be however you want. It can't be in pencil though, but it has to have color. So I have the title, I have the author, I have my 4 drawings, I have my 4 themes, and I have my 4 quotes with the page numbers. That's really important. A quote is not just something that a character says. When I say a quote, it's just something directly taken from the book. So it could be something that's being described by the narrator. It doesn't have to be something that a character actually says. So I have those 4 things. The rubric for this looks like this. I will post it on Classroom for you to see. But general expectations are it's on printer paper. If you don't have printer paper, let me know. I can get you some. It has to be ink or it can be typed. You can make this online as well. I'll show you. But then it has to have title and author, fills up the whole page, and it uses colors. That's 5 points. The 4 quotes with, making sure everything's neat. You have the page numbers, you have the quotation marks, that's 10 points. The drawings, so the 4 drawings, that's 10 points. The 4 themes, that's 5 points. I know some of the scoring doesn't make sense, but I want it to be like a round number. Summary of the story, that 1 paragraph that explains it is a 10 points. And then your feelings on the book, and then explaining the drawings and themes and just general neatness is another 10. And then the explanation of themes and images again. Yep. So those 2, so the description are 10 points. It might seem a little weird, but 60 points overall. This is worth a big chunk of your grade. So make sure you're taking your time on this and asking questions. But this is kind of what we're looking for. Oh yeah, so these are just that you wrote them. This is that you are making sure all of them are explained and it's related back to the story. So you make sure, like, I refer back to, so I picked the theme of independence because all of the female protagonists in the story are strong women that go out on their own to find the truth. I don't just say, I think independence is a theme. That would only be half of it, right? So I need to know, why is that a theme? So that's what the rubric will look like. Here are a couple examples. So you saw mine. So here is someone from 8th grade. She read the book Delirium. And so here she is explaining. So her name's here, hour, date, and then the title and author. She explains why she picked the book Deliriums, because I recommended it. And then she shortly summarizes what the book's about. And she even goes to another paragraph explaining. So then she gives us her opinion on the book. And so she says she loved it. She said she's not much of a bookworm, and she said she was reading it every day. She 100% recommends it. And she said, thanks for letting her read it. And then she's explaining the drawing. She says she drew a syringe to represent the procedure for the cure, person in a cage, a hazy eye, and then a chopped up heart. And then she explains the different themes. So 4 themes. So love, friendship, loss, and control, and explains all of that. So that's her written part. And then this is her drawn part. So this is actually like right from the book. This is what the title looks like. And then here are her drawings, the chopped up heart, the cage, the syringe. Here are her themes. And then she picked some direct quotes from the book. Another good poster example is this one. So this is a nonfiction book that this person read. So title, author, 4 themes, 4 drawings, 4 quotes. It's pretty straightforward, I think. It's a lot of fun writing this and me getting to see what you read. But yeah, about 1.5 to 2 pages of a written assignment. So that's what this assignment is, and it takes us the whole semester. So I want to make sure it's something that you really like and enjoy reading. And you can even read it and finish your assignment in like October, but then you'll just still need to find a book to do independent reading, because that's just something we're always trying to work on. That's what it's going to look like. You won't turn it in until like the week or 2 before the end of the semester. But Wednesdays will be dedicated to working on this. So I probably, until we get back to full time, if we're ever in person full time, we'll only be working on this at home. So it's your responsibility to be reading at least, 40 minutes or 30 minutes or even an hour, as long as you need to. And then once you finish the book, you can start writing your paper and doing your poster. So just make sure while you're reading, you get some sticky notes. I have a ton that you can use, but mark up the book. If you find something where you're like, ooh, that's a good quote, put the sticky note in there and remember to look back on it when you start writing your paper. But just pick something that you really want to read, and I just want you to have a lot of fun with this, okay? Thanks for listening to me talk, and have fun. Bye.